performances in Celtics history.
Curry has time. 3 seconds. Curry from half court.
Thunder is out of timeouts. Adams gives it back to Russ. Deep shot.
What's going on, guys? Tyler James here, and we're back with another video. This time switching gears from NBA draft talk to some NBA rumors. Damian Lillard's season just ended in a tragic way after one of the best performances we've seen in a while. However, Portland just doesn't have it. So, as unlikely as it is, if he is traded this offseason, let's take a look at some potential teams that might just have enough to grab Lillard, who has a couple years left on his contract and is obviously one of the best point guards in the league. So let's break it down team by team and go over some realistic trade options. First up's my Boston Celtics. You know I could not include them in this video, and they actually are kind of a realistic option for one reason, and one reason alone. That's Jaylen Brown. I've seen some scenarios where we offer Kemba Walker, Robert Williams, a bunch of first-round picks, but that just doesn't make sense because Kemba is not really a tradable asset right now. Jaylen Brown, however, would be one of the best players that Portland can get if they decided to let go of Dame. He's young, he's an all-star, he's up and coming, and he's really just one of the best assets they could grab. So if Boston made him available, you can bet that Portland would be calling them in an instant. Seems like you can't have a trade rumor video these days without mentioning LeBron and the Lakers, which is honestly really annoying, but let's break it down either way. This is probably the most unrealistic scenario, even though LeBron and Lillard have been linked in the past. However, I just don't see what they're going to give up. They're not going to give up Anthony Davis. Kyle Kuzma's not going to get it done if you follow basketball at all. And yeah, first round picks are nice, Dennis Schroeder, whatever. That's just not going to get it done. The Lakers don't have the assets. The only reason they're even in this conversation is because they're the Los Angeles Lakers. They have LeBron James, and they find weird ways to get things done. But I don't see it as a real option. I really don't. I guess time will tell, but for now, this is the least likely for me. Going from maybe the least likely to maybe the most likely, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, they just tied up the series, and a lot will depend on how their playoff run goes, but every time the Sixers fail in the playoffs, we always hear some Ben Simmons rumors. We heard it with James Harden, and people aren't just sure if him and Embiid are a good match. That's why, if Simmons becomes available, like Jaylen Brown, he's one of the best assets Portland can get, and I could definitely see a trade where Philly gets Dame Lillard, they get Ben Simmons, and everybody wins. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on, maybe the most likely scenario right now if we're breaking them all down, and I really like the fit in Philly for Dame. Another very interesting option is the Miami Heat, and the reason I include them is because they have some young assets and they missed out on James Harden. They have regrets for not doing that James Harden deal, and a lot will depend on how high someone like the Trailblazers are in a Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson still. I'm still very high on Tyler Hero and think he just had a sophomore slump and came around in the end. So that's why the Heat, if they can offer Hero, Duncan, maybe Precious, a couple first-round picks, they're a very realistic option, not only because they have the assets, but because they want to make up for missing out on James Harden and getting that star to pair up with Jimmy Butler to make their next run. Guess who's back? The New York Knicks. That's right, Knicks basketball is back with their recent playoff run. Yeah, they got lost in the first round, but the improvements they've made, how good Julius Randle was, that puts them in a conversation. And it's New York. Everybody wants to be the savior of the Knicks, so Dame Lillard could definitely be that guy. And they have some decent assets. Think R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, who struggled a little bit, a bunch of first-round picks, maybe Mitchell Robinson, but we'd have to see. They got enough to get it done, especially if Dame came out and said, hey, I want to go to New York. That's the team I really want to go to. I think Portland's going to respect his request as much as possible. And who wouldn't like to see a combo of Lillard, Randle, and Madison Square Garden going crazy every night when it's Dame time? Last but not least, we have the Denver Nuggets, and it's hard to say if the Blazers would trade in their division. However, if Dame Lillard, someone they obviously respect and care for, said, I'd like to go to the Denver Nuggets, you could get this back, I'm sure they consider it. The reason they're a realistic option is if the Blazers want to keep going for it and not rebuild, necessarily. You can get Jamal Murray back. I don't know about Michael Porter Jr. That would be definitely somebody I'd ask about. However, the Nuggets might not budge on him, but you can get Jamal Murray, some first-round picks like in all the other deals, and Murray is a budding star. Like, he may be just coming off injury, but he's one of the best guards in the league, so I don't see them not at least considering a deal like this. Yes, the Golden State Warriors have Steph Curry, who played out of his mind this year, and Klay Thompson hopefully coming back fairly soon, but they actually have quite a few assets that could get a deal for Dame done and make one of the best trios in the league. Think James Wiseman, maybe Andrew Wiggins throw in. They also have a top pick in this upcoming draft, which is going to be very enticing, especially if the Blazers decide to rebuild. So the Warriors they might be more realistic than you think. I don't know how those three would play together, but the Nets are dominating right now with three dominant ball, handlers. So I don't see why they couldn't do the same thing. So keep the Warriors in mind if Lillard becomes available. That's it, NBA fans. Those are the teams I see as the most realistic option if Lillard is traded. It's going to be a crazy offseason if something like that does happen and it becomes available, so stay tuned. We'll keep everything updated with more videos to come, especially more NBA draft videos. I have another mock draft coming out as soon as the lottery hits. Please like and subscribe. That's the only way to support my channel, and that's the only thing I really ask. Follow me on Instagram and all social media at Tyler James NBA, and we'll see you next time.